I cannot believe this is happening right now. We're about to run it back. Tonight's the night.
It probably is.
Alright, are you ready?
Okay.
Oh, I can't believe we're making this video
So,
right now. Here, let's just start here.
Okay.
Hi. Okay, no, we did have a baby on Saturday, August 21st, 2021. He was born at, I think, 8:43 in the evening, which is pretty cool. His name is Brooks Thomas Romisch.
That's right.
And this is his story.
So I started going into labor on Friday night, so it would have been the 20th. 8:30 p.m. I started having consistent contractions like every 7 minutes or so. And I gave it like a half hour before I kind of looked at Brett and I was like, so I think I might be in labor. Then we tried to pass the time a little bit by watching some TV, and by now it's like 10:30ish. Eventually we did go into the hospital. We went to triage after I called my OB.
Hannah just started feeling contractions. So we've had contractions since 9:30. We've already called the hospital and they said wait until the contractions are a little more intense or like a minute long. And so now we're just waiting for that. And when that happens, we'll probably be on our way to the hospital. I had a whole entire Little Caesars pizza tonight. And between that and my nerves, it's made me a little sick.
He's ill and I'm just sitting here suffering. It's not been that bad. The contractions have been like 40 seconds long, like averaging out to be like 4.5 minutes apart. Thought I was gonna be able to get some sleep, but they hurt too much to sleep.
It's on. Tonight's the night.
It probably is. These are coming like very fast, and I do not like them. Not fun.
Okay, it's 12:12 p.m. Hannah's on the phone with the hospital right now. I got the whole entire van packed right now, and we're about to get out of here. This is crazy, but this is exciting. I cannot believe this is happening right now. Hannah's super tough. She's killing it. She's doing a great job, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so midnight we end up going in. By this time my contractions are like every 4.5 to 5 minutes. We go in and we're kind of really excited. They check me and she's like, you're 4 centimeters dilated. Like, that's the best news I've ever heard. And then she's like, oh wait, maybe a 1. Turns out that I was only a 1, so they had me wait there for 2 hours to see if I was going to advance in my labor and continue to dilate. If I had not dilated at all after 2 hours, then they were gonna send us home.
And this is at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was a late night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really So, yeah, the 2 hours went by and I didn't dilate, so then they did discharge us from the triage at like 3:30ish.
Which was pretty disappointing.
I was in pain. Like, I was like, I don't want to go home. I feel like something's happening here. So we went home. We were really tired. We hadn't slept this whole time.
We woke up Friday morning and now
it's 4 a.m.
right now it's 4 a.m. on Saturday morning.
We get home and they're kind of like, wow, that sucked. And we kind of just leave everything in the car.
Yeah.
And I'm still in pain. I didn't really eat a good dinner, and so it's 4 a.m. and I'm starving, so I sent Brett to the kitchen to get me an apple because I just needed something. And when he leaves to get me an apple, I have a really painful contraction and I just feel a pop inside of me. And I'm laying there and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was my water breaking. Sure enough, I sit up and I just feel it gush out of me. And I'm like, Brett, my water's breaking, my water broke. He comes back in with his apple. He's like, are you sure? So then I call my OB place. They're like, okay, come back in. We'll make sure it's your water. Go back in, and I noticed that my water was not clear. I know that it should be clear, and it was more like yellow-brown tinge, which I knew meant that Brooks at that point had passed meconium, which is when a baby poops in utero. They poop when they're still inside you. And that can happen if a baby is late, which Brooks was, or if they're under stress. I was a little bit scared because I feel like in nursing school they just freak you out about that kind of thing. At this point my contractions were like every 2 minutes. Like once your water breaks, your body just is like, let's go. I'm in a lot of pain at this point. I'm really having to breathe through them. And then they get us a room. And then the day begins at that point.
we're back at the hospital and we're about to go back into triage again. We're about to run it back, so we'll keep you guys posted. It's 6:15 in the morning. They just admitted us into the actual room that Hannah will give birth to Brooks in. We'll be here until that happens. Hannah is having some pretty intense contractions, so they're gonna put her on an IV, get her some meds going. We got a ways to go still, but things are moving and this baby's coming.
So then eventually there comes a point where I'm just done with the pain. I say, okay, give me the epidural. I was 4 centimeters. Hour or so later, around 2 o'clock, they said they were going to start me on the Pitocin drip, which will help speed up the labor. So my nurse comes in with another nurse to help set up that whole thing. The nurse helping my nurse looked at the monitors and said, do you see this? And I looked at the monitors when I heard that and saw that Brooks's heart rate was in the 80s, which for a baby in utero, that should really be like 130s to 150s, 160s. At that point, they had taken the monitor off my stomach, trying to move it around to see maybe the baby had moved and they're not picking up a good signal. Once they figured out it was actually his heart rate, they were like, okay, we need to get you on all fours. They put an oxygen mask on me. The lights came on, 1 billion doctors and nurses came flooding in, it felt like.
All within like 30 seconds.
Yeah, he came up to my shoulder and he was like, are you okay? Like thinking there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not me, it's him. And they were kind of like, okay, that was fun. We're gonna let him being the baby, chill out for an hour because he had recovered from that little episode. His heart rate came right back up. And they said they would try to start the Pitocin drip in an hour instead. So an hour goes by, we start the Pitocin drip, and everything goes pretty smooth for another 2 hours. His heart rate was fine. They were like, oh, this baby loves Pitocin, big deal. And then it happens again.
His heart rate dropped again.
Yes. At this point, I was mostly being followed by midwives throughout my whole pregnancy, and then there was a doctor that came in, and they were like, okay, so this is bad. We should probably have a talk about potentially having a C-section.
Crazy.
Like a linebacker.
Hey, that's cool. You're like Brian Urlacher. Okay, so it's 6:38 on Saturday night. We haven't slept since Friday morning.
This baby's heartbeat keeps coming down. They are prepping for a C-section just in case.
We'll see. It's crazy. Hopefully soon we'll have some clips of this boy.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay.
So at this point, they had given me more fluids. They had ordered antibiotics for me just in case. They already had Brett's little outfit, like his little surgical sterile outfit, you know, for going down to the C-section just in case. And that is what ended up happening.
Extremely.
They gave me a bolus of something through my epidural, and I was all numb from basically like my chest down. And it was just really bizarre because everyone was hustling and bustling and people were coming in and they just wheeled me down on the stretcher and I'm just trying to take deep breaths as I know I'm zooming towards the OR room and I'm like watching all these ceiling tiles like fly by. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, okay, this is happening, like they're about to cut me open, this is really scary. My doctor at one point, once we were in the OR room and they had put me on the table, and she kind of peeks over and she looks at me, she's like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm nervous. And she just did a great job of like reassuring me and being like, this is gonna be a beautiful moment. We are all here for you and your baby, and you know, this is what's gonna happen, and this is a great thing. So then they're rushing around in there. His heart rate does drop one more time, I hear them say. And then Brett comes in and they're getting to work, and I was so relieved to see him because I literally needed him so bad at that point. We prayed so many times throughout that whole process. They said like it takes like 45 minutes to an hour.
It felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like nothing. And you know, I heard them say baby, like for when they're taking him out. Like the second you hear him cry is like literally the best moment of my life. I will never forget it. It's just the best thing ever. And so he cries and I literally just sit there and I like close my eyes and I whisper, thank you, Jesus. And tears, and I'm always been emotional. Every single time. Every single time I talk about love, I get emotional.
Right.
Oh, and the tell your part.
Yeah, as soon as they brought him out, the nurse behind us taps me on the shoulder and she goes, "Dad, stand up." And so then I popped up and I looked over the curtain and they were holding Brooks facing me. And I was literally like, he was even fresh out the womb, he was like super cute. Kenny, he's so cute, he's so cute, he's so cute.
It's like the first thing he said. He's like, "You're not gonna believe it, he's so cute."
Yeah, that was a pretty special moment for sure. I mean, seeing your child for the first time.
Dude, that's so bizarre.
It's wild.
But we did hear him start grunting a little bit. He was like, for like 30 seconds at least. And they said he was having trouble transitioning and that they used to like suction that out of the baby, but they found that like once you put baby on mom, like skin to skin, that they transitioned better. Originally I had wanted in labor, once I had given birth, to have something called the golden hour, which is like an hour free of medication and interventions if possible, and just for an hour of skin to skin with dim lights. And so I'd asked if that was still possible with the C-section, and so they did delay the medication, and then they told me originally that I wouldn't be able to do like skin to skin directly on my chest because of me being numb, and that it would be too heavy or something like that, and that he would be cuddled on my neck, and that Brett would hold him there. But they said with the trouble of transitioning, they were gonna put him right on my neck so I did get what I wanted, or right on my chest. They put him right on my chest. They brought him over, and my first thought was like, well, first of all, like, this is my son. And second of all, he was so pale. He was a little pale guy because he wasn't getting enough full oxygen, and then they put him on me. And Brett was helping me hold him because my arms were kind of numb. And then he pinked right up, and he was coughing some stuff up, and Brett was being a good dad already and wiping it away with a little gauze.
That's it. That's the story of Brooks.
Yeah.
The story of Brooks Romisch.